Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to day 15 of the 31 Days of Horror. That's right, D-Bougie86 back up in this. That's right, everybody. And today I have a newer film, actually from this year, 2020. Actually came out this Tuesday from Well Go USA. And yeah, this one just looked intriguing from the cover art alone, and that is Broil. Yeah, didn't really know much about this one. I was just very intrigued by the cover art of this one, so I wanted to check it out. So, pretty much what Broil is about, we're introduced to kind of our setup where the main chick that we introduce into this movie is named Chance, who's part of the Sinclair clan, and pretty much Chance is kind of like a troubled teen. She gets into fights with schoolgirls and beats the shit out of one of them. And pretty much one day we find out her mom and dad actually made a deal that Chance has to go live with her grandfather, August Sinclair, who, when we first meet him, he is very demanding of this. So what happens is Chance ends up going to live with him, and a year has passed, and it's time for the next family meal where the whole Sinclair clan comes back together, and pretty much shit fucking goes down, and we find out the Sinclair family is not really what it is, and we find out a little bit more about what August Sinclair is, and yeah, it's fucking wild, and we're introduced to this chef character who comes into play, and pretty much it's a tale of survival. They have to survive against these demons, as you may, and that's pretty much all I'll give away on the plot of this one. Now, my thoughts on the film as a whole, I actually was very intrigued from the opening scene of this movie. It was kind of interesting with the aspect of what the Sinclair family is. That's, it's kind of a unique take on this type of lineage, and I kind of like that about it. It's not your average everyday of these type of movies, and it plays into like another subgenre where it's like those it kind of remind me of like Monster Party and like like Would You Rather. It has that type of feel to it with like the dinner scenario, and it goes batshit crazy because it's hard to talk about this movie without telling really what it is. But these family members are very much vampires, pretty much, and I like that aspect about the film. It's a different take on it where, it's a group of vampires coming to have dinner with each other, and they're cutthroat. They're cutthroat crew of characters. Very interesting movie. It actually has a little smaller cameo role by Lunken Monroe, who's also like the executive producer of the movie. He has a small role as he plays the chef's boss, Freddy, in this movie. And I always like Lunken Monroe. He's kind of he's just an odd character actor who, once he just pops up in like these horror movies, it's like weird in that sense. But yeah, actually, I really dug the fuck out of this. It does have some technical flaws to it, of course. There is some weird like CGI use, especially with some of the devouring scenes, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it's weird in that sense, and it felt weird because it did kind of have a happy end in this movie, which, I don't mind when movies have a happy end. It was just weird and odd the way that the movie actually ends, in my opinion. But overall, I still highly enjoyed this movie for what it was and what it did for kept me enthralled, and I actually really liked most of the musical score. Again, with the ending, it was way too happy sounding. It sounded like some Disney shit, but you know, overall the score is pretty intense in some of the other scenes of the movie. But I like Broil. It was pretty fun, you know, from Well Go USA, you know. No special features, which is kind of weird, now that I think about it. But, you know, there's a reveal near the dinner scene of this movie where I was like, holy shit, and I was like, really? That's some stone cold shit. And, you know, this movie does have a few other reveals in it, which I did dig the hell out of. Yeah, I really liked it for what it was, you know. Nothing mind-blowing, but at least it did try to do something a little bit different with kind of like an oversaturated subgenre. Yeah, it was good shit. Don't mind me, guys. I'm tired, so that's why I'm like kind of zoning out a little bit. Yeah, I was like, oh, you know. But Broil, yeah, you know, it was what it was. I dug it for what it was. If I had to rate it, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. That's a good rating for, especially for a first time watch. Cool movie. I actually dug the hell out of it. Check it out. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with another one for you guys soon. Peace.